President Trump says the Democrats are paving the way for Republican victories this November. So is he right? Here to debate that is Republican strategist Kimberly Klacik and the former DNC Deputy Press Secretary Jose Aristimuño. Thank you guys for coming on this morning. Kim, we're going to start with you. Senator Alphonse D'Amato, formerly of New York, said yesterday that with this kind of rhetoric from the left, Republicans can expect to save the House in November and even add seats in the Senate. Do you think that's possible?
I totally agree. You have to keep in mind, and lucky for the American people, Democrats don't hold control of any branch of government, or we would have this crazy idea pushed through. But you have to understand, there's a reason why people are dying to get to America. We understand the value of free enterprise. And those that are seeking refuge, I mean, we just don't know who's who. So you have those that are seeking asylum here, and then you have those that they're seeking asylum from. So you have criminals, you have drug cartel, you have murderers, you have gang members, and we don't know the difference. And I like to just point out to anti-Trumpers and those that don't agree, this is not a Trump idea. ICE was established in 2002 as a response to September 11th. And it's hard for me to wrap my mind around the fact that people that actually lived through the tragedy would be on board with something like this. And I have to also say, those that are for the Me Too movement, it's crazy if they even think that this notion's okay. ICE investigates those that have child pornography and deals with sex trafficking. So it's just a crazy idea all around.
Deal with all sorts of crimes. A lot of these people are killers. They're violent criminals. Jose, what's your response to these calls?
Look, I don't really think it's whether we need to abolish ICE or not. I think what we ought to do is change its policies. ICE was not meant to be separating families and putting families into detention for a very long time. So we ought to really think, and I think the reason why we're even having this conversation, whether ICE needs to at least be abolished or at least change its structure, it's because of the anti-immigrant policies that this president has been putting through. Do
you think it's too far to say that it should be abolished? Is that your perspective?
Look, again, I just don't think it's effective to put away or eliminate a whole agency. I think we could use better time for resources and, again, maybe do some rebranding and really ensure that ICE is doing what it's meant to do, which is going against transnational crime organizations, not trying to lock away children at the border.
Liz, some moderate Democrats say that this is just a small faction of the party that are saying these things, but a lot of them are really big names. You've got Kirsten Gillibrand, Kamala Harris, Elizabeth Warren saying these types of things. On the other side of it, something like 70% of Americans support stronger borders in this country. Is this a loser for the Democrats?
Is this for...
Yeah, Kim,
I'm sorry. Sorry. Yeah. Well, it was also former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton that said we must have strong borders and we have to send a strong message. It was also Hillary Clinton that said, regardless if you were an adult or a child, if you come over our border without papers, we're deporting you right back. And it was also Hillary Clinton that said in 2014, just 4 years ago, that if you come seek asylum here in our country, you have to understand that we don't have to accept you. We don't have to grant you any asylum. So she was for strong borders, and I don't know how we've gone to this backwards thinking and backwards way in just 4 years. It makes no sense.
Jose, something 40,000, 50,000 are caught at the border coming into the country illegally every month. You don't want to see these people detained and families detained. What should happen to these people?
Look, let me just point out, I can't believe Kimberly is still talking about Hillary Clinton. I think the election was over at least a year and a half ago. Come on, give me a break.
I'm just going over
let me just say this. No one cares. Hillary Clinton, it's done. Let's move on.
Let's turn on
the page. Look, what I can tell you is this, and my message for the president, it's very simple. If we really want to make sure that we stop, if he really wants to ensure that the American people are happy, and the majority of American people, by the way, they approve, they want comprehensive immigration reform. I mean it. Mr. President, go to Congress, talk to Democrats, talk to Republicans. Let's actually put forth a plan that secures our borders. That's important, but actually puts a path to citizenship for the millions of undocumented people who are in this country.
Didn't answer, though. 40,000 people a month. What should happen in short term?
Again, one of the basic human rights that people have, especially when they come to this country, the beacon of hope, the United States of America. People should have at least a hearing of asylum. The notion that right now Jeff Sessions and President Trump are trying to change their policies, that if you cross the border undocumented, you won't even have a chance at a hearing to seek asylum in this country. That's just absurd.
If you want a hearing, you're going to have to wait. Where do you wait? There's a lot of problems with that. Jose, thank you so much. Kim, thank you. We appreciate it.